The Indianapolis Colts almost beat the Seattle Seahawks on Sunday, and I think we might be able to get the job done versus the 49ers with Phillip Rivers at the helm. Let's talk about it. First, the song I've been vibing to for I don't know, 4 or 5 days now. Gotta play it.
Yeah.
We're gonna listen to the song for a second because it's good.
We used to be down by 10. Not check the scope, but I knew I would dance no win. It's a whole bunch of losses I took on the chin. I just had to remember that JaYy it is. That JaYy it goes. Little bro facing 20, he 20 years old. I'm 25, I done beat up the road with from New York to Texas and all the way home. Hey, I'm from the country. We putting hot sauce on a pork chop sandwich. The blood said he getting shit in from Cali, so he paying shipping and handling. I talked to some people, they told me you probably could blow. You just need a little management. Why I don't give a fuck about the industry. I find a plug and get rich off of cannabis. I don't give a fuck about the industry. I work a job as long as my son's great. Bitch, I been him with his music since bro used to cook me a beat on the lunch tray. I hate when they act throw it off. That boy wanna crash in his head down on one way. Going from that dirt ass south for real. We'll set that bitch off on a Monday. But we'll set that bitch off on a Wednesday. Shit, I told my dog that he more like a brother to me, but I still pull a milli if he go against me. White boy, my name ain't Josh, but I keep it Drake in case they try to get me, and I call it burn on the hula hoop boys, cause they like to spin around some shit till they dizzy. I just told him to vibe, cause this shit just something to ride to. But stood on that same block for some years, working that bitch like a drive-through. I could've...
All right. I can't no more. I'll probably get copyrighted for that little bit right there, but I'll take it out if I got to. It is what it is. Anyway, so yeah, Phillip Rivers, starting again on Monday for the Indianapolis Colts. That's been known for since last Monday, or since Monday. It's Friday right now. Since Monday, it's been known, and I think everyone, they kind of know that it's gonna be Phillip Rivers pretty much throughout the rest of this whole entire time. Season at least. The run and pass game both for Indianapolis Colts have not been the best over the last 5 weeks, or 4 or 5 over the last 5, and I think it has to do a lot with morale and things like that. But we need to get it turned around. We almost turned it around last week. We were very close, within 1 point of turning it around. And I really believe that this week, if we can come up with the same plan, defense plays just as good or better if they did, JT runs the football, we can really, really win this game. And I really believe that on Monday night, prime time. And, obviously, more about the Colts. We're going to talk about the Pacers a little bit. The Kentucky Wildcats play tomorrow. Pacers lose just a heartbreaker 3 by Brunson there. To win that game, and a little bit about maybe the Chicago Indiana Bears, something maybe like that. Also, Anthony Richardson off of IR. All these things discussed just in 1 second. One thing I want to talk about the Colts that's not have to do with their game or anything like that. It has to do with the game, but not the actual playing of the game. They're playing in the Indiana Knights jerseys again. If you don't remember those, I'm gonna try to put a picture here, right there. So if you don't remember those, they're the blue, all blue jersey. Let's see if I can show you. I'm going to try to put a picture there, but if I can't, I'm about to show you right now. Pretty sure I'll be able to put a photo, but this is just in case. I just feel the need to show this. This is obviously Alec Pierce, but they're these very blue, but they got these little specks. Let me zoom in real quick. Can you see the little effects in there? See? They're all right. I like the helmets a lot. I think this little C, I have a shirt with that on it. I like that. And the helmet, I kind of think is pretty cool. The all black helmet is really neat. I like that helmet a lot. So wearing those jerseys on Sunday, does that matter for the game? Absolutely does not. Does that have anything to do with whether we win or lose? Of course it does not. I'd like to think it does, but it doesn't. Do the players care? They don't. They care even less than I do, or than people who talk about sports do. But it'll be cool to watch them. They'll look nice. That'll be all nice. But getting into the actual game, the actual meat and potatoes of this thing, people had a lot to say about what Phillip Rivers did last week, and obviously it wasn't great. I've been watching a bit of Phillip Rivers' film, a bit of how do I put this? his practice, but I'm trying to think of the word for it. His what do they call that? I can't think of it right now. Oh, his portfolio of passes. I was trying to think of the word portfolio for that long. I apologize. But anyway, I said a lot to say this. It seemed like in practice, at least, and I'm saying practice because I mean it, he was throwing the ball a little further down the field. Looked like he had a little more zip to the football. I know that might sound crazy, but it looked like he may have had just a little more, a little less of this, and I'm a little more of this, just a little bit, not like a ton, just a little bit. You can see it kind of in his, if you've seen his recent practice videos, is what I was going to say. But here's what I'm thinking. Here's what my brain is concluding. I honestly think, and this could, man, a lot of people who are not Colts fans are going to think this is crazy take right here. But I really think that in another week of practice, he's gotten hit now. He's not afraid of that. He's not afraid to, you know what I'm saying? He's experienced the game again. So, and I'm not saying he went into the game terrified of getting hit. No. I mean, he knew he could get hit and all that. But I'm saying now he's done been there, and felt that again. So, and he even said, I'm feeling better than I was last week. Like, and I know athletes like to say stuff like that. I'm understanding of that, okay? But what I think that gets missed kind of here is that's also another week to practice with your teammates. That's another week to so he's had another week to even get his body in a little better shape. Start dieting again and stuff like that. Not to say I don't know what he was eating before, but obviously it wasn't dieting. Wasn't in playing shape. So just to get that even a little more inch dialed in, I think will help him. And I know that's gonna sound crazy, but I don't think it's gonna make him back to his old self or nothing crazy, but just that inch better could have won us the game last week. We scored touchdown one time rather than a field goal and we win. So obviously we still got to get the run game going. We have to. Jonathan Taylor is going to have to be a big part of this game. He's going to have over 100 yards for us to win. I firmly believe that. I said that last week. I believe that, okay? Into maybe the stakes of the game a little bit here. This isn't a random just Monday night game. Big playoff implications here for the Colts. The 49ers are trying to take. They're 10-4, trying to lock up their playoff spot in the NFC positioning, possibly even secure one of those top 4 seeds. By winning their division. The Colts are 8-6 and currently outside the AFC playoff picture. So this is a must-win game if Indy wants to stay in the hunt. Now, in all likelihood, the Colts actually could lose this game and go to the playoffs. We'd have to beat the Texans and the Jaguars, and they would kind of have to lose like 2 games each, I think, or something like that. And if either one of them lose out and we win 2 games, or if they lose, I forget the exact scenario off the top of my head. For the Texans, they play the Raiders on Sunday at 4:25. If they could manage to lose that game and we beat the 49ers on Monday, we could be back in the playoff picture just by that. But then the Texans play the Chargers, and the next week we play the Jaguars. So if we win that, if somehow, now the Raiders aren't going to win, sorry, but I do think the Chargers could win. So if the Chargers beat the Texans on that's actually a Saturday. Am I looking at that right? That's what that says. Saturday the 27th. Then we could be in the game there too. But then we play the Texans on January 4th. That's to be determined on the time and everything. And I'm kind of hoping that would be for the division. Now, again, if we manage somehow to win out and they manage to lose out, it'll be over. As far as with the Colts and their playoff pictures, it's a little sketchy. They can only lose to the 49ers. If they lose to the 49ers, it will be hard for them to win anyway. Go to the playoffs anyway, should I say. But if they don't win to the 49ers, they have to beat the next 2 teams, and we need a couple of losses from them too. And one including to us by both of the AFC South teams above us, the Jaguars and the Texans. So yeah, big playoff implications happening. And the Phillip Rivers storyline is one of the best from the NFL. If you're not even a Colts fan, you have to be a Colts fan. It's one of the best NFL stories of the year, in my opinion. At age 44, after nearly 5 years off, he started last week and held his own in a critical close loss to Seattle. My mic is moving everywhere. It is... What in the world? We're okay. I thought I was going to fall over there for a second. But meanwhile, I mean, Phillip Rivers went, what was it? So I actually have some notes on Phillip Rivers' performance, all right? So very run heavy. Now that's obvious. But I wrote down a note for all 28 passes by Phillip Rivers. He had 28 passes that I counted personally. I've not even double checked that. I just watched the game again and counted them in front of my eyes. So let's see how many passes I deemed that were bad passes. Passes worth mentioning to me. It was an incomplete pass to JT. It was very close to being a good one. Just didn't have enough velocity on it. I feel like this week, with what I've seen from him in practice, his interviews, he might make that pass this week. Second throw was a screen pass to Pitt. That was a first down. First throw to Tyler was a little bit off, but could have been caught. Not the best throw. It was all right. A little bit over his head. A little too much loft on these balls, honestly. So that's two bad throws in the first three. Fourth pass was Tyler. Could have been caught. A little off as well, but it needed a little more drive on the football. So that's 4 passes with one good one. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up is because, yes, you can say that he did the things he needed to do, and that would be a true statement. I would agree with you. But I would also agree with you he didn't do enough to win the game, because we didn't win the game. And if he was, just on those first 4 passes that I read off to you, there's 27 of them that I could talk about. But just from those ones, just a little more zip on the football, just a little more accuracy would have he caught those balls. Those balls are converted, or the receiver catches those balls and those balls get converted. So I'm hoping that this week, with a full week of practice in, a little more rest, a little more feel for the game again. When I tell people he has to get the feel for the game, they're like, well, he played for 20 years. Yeah, he did. But he's not played for 5 years, so he's not been hit for 5 years. When's the last time you've picked something up that you've not done for 5 years and been uberly successful with it? You know what I'm saying? So I got to move this thing. This thing is going nuts. Sorry. A little bit of a disgruntled pod today, huh? I'm usually more organized than this. Gonna try to get this to my face still so you can hear me. There we go. Phillip can improve just that little bit more by practicing and getting back in there with the receivers a little bit. See him doing some receiver work. So I really hope that all can, get solved and we can just be that much more better. And I think if we do that, come out running the football and play really good defense, that's another going to be a big part is our defense. We had one of the best defensive performances we've had all season last game, and we kind of squandered it away at the end, and people look at it badly because we had a couple bad possessions. But what a great defensive game it was from the Colts. Like, if we can continue that, run the football, and Phillip Rivers is just that much better. Our operation was so clean. We can play the same style game we did last week with the same amount of effort. It was so clean that, like, I was so mad. We let up a little more, you're going to let up to JSN and the Seattle Seahawks. That's going to happen. But at the end of the game, we didn't get it done, and that's just what it is. So I've talked about a couple bad passes. I'm gonna mention one more. That wasn't even really a pass. I counted it though. So he slips on the logo. Let me see what pass this is. I was just looking at it a minute ago. He slips on the logo here. Oh, there it is. 10th pass. I wrote 10th pass, fell down, slipped on logo. He, was dropping back, and he just looked a little old there. And there's probably nothing you can do about that. There's not a lot of fixing that right there. He's old, and you can't make him any younger. But regular quarterbacks slip on that. So what do you really say, But the defense, like, for instance, first defensive drive, 3 and out. Big tackle for loss by Z and a penalty on third got him off the field. Defensive drive number 2, they got 2 big completions, but a big stop on third down led to a field goal. Then we had a sack on third down for the third defensive drive. Fourth defensive drive, tackle by loss by Pratt for negative 5 yards. A penalty by Seattle for negative 5 yards. Nick Cross, sack, and big hit. He hit Sam Darnold pretty good there. Then the Seahawks huddled on the sidelines after that. Then they came out better. The next defensive drive started like this. A quick completion for 9 yards. JSN catch allowed by Z. Cooper Kupp catch allowed by Mekhi Blackman. And a field goal by Seattle at the end of the half for 52 yards. The sixth defensive drive. First down allowed. Another first on a screen pass allowed. Another first on a screen pass. Third down stop on 3rd and 3. Seattle goes for it on 4th and gets it. 3rd and 7 pass is no good. But probably a Blackman PI, to be honest. Another field goal by Seattle. On the 7th, we punt on the 7th defensive drive. A quarterback hit creates a bad pass. 3 incompletions in a row by Sam. But they're moving the ball with the run. But on 3rd down, more possession or more pressure on Sam by, I believe it was Latu at that point. They punt. We punt. 8th defensive drive. 28-yard catch by Shaheed. A tackle for loss by Z. JSN over the middle. Blackman again. Now, what I'm going to start doing is mentioning the defender that this in particular person was guarding whenever they caught this football. So that pass was on Blackman. Then they kick a field goal. Incomplete pass on 3rd and 7 leads to a field goal. Then we get down here to our last defensive drive. Where is it at? Right here. So here we go. We take the lead with it's 4th and 3. A check down. So on 3rd and 7, they call a pass. Phillip checks to a run. And it gets 4 yards. So it's 4th and 3 on 3rd and 7. And then Blake Groupie kicks a 60-yard field goal to give us the lead. That makes it 16-15 Colts. But a good return for 37 yards kind of got its last drive by Seattle started. Then it's going to sound like some hate that happens. So a lot during this game, they picked on Jonathan Edwards. I talked about him in my last week's podcast because he's an undrafted rookie out of Tulane. I said that a bunch. He sucks. He's not good. I'm sorry. I don't think you're a bad person, but you're not that guy, pal. Last 3 throws that are crucial in this game were led by either Blackman or Edwards. So Sam passes to Shaheed for 28 yards. Big gain. It's Jonathan Edwards again. Pressure on Sam, but he makes a good throw for 8 more yards, and that's again Jonathan Edwards. It's 4th down, 56-yard field goal by Myers, 18-16 Seahawks. 11 seconds left. 28-yard pass by Phillip. Incomplete, not a good throw. I did think there's a little bit of contact on that throw that nobody's talking about. That possibly could have been thrown, but flag maybe could have been thrown. But Pitt tries to catch it and can't. Just wasn't also the best throw, unfortunately, by Phillip. So that's my rundown of his last performance. Can he improve? I believe he probably can. So it brings us all back to Anthony Richardson. Now, why did I bring this up? Well, Anthony Richardson been elevated off IR, and people are asking, is he going to start? He's not going to start. If anything, he's going to be the backup, but he's not going to do it this week. I don't know exactly why. I have my theories as to why. But at the end of the day, he's not performed. At the end of the day, he's not did the things on the field he needs to do to be on the field. So that's what that is. Do I think he deserves to be the backup? I 100% do. Would I start him? That'd be sketchy. I don't know. Maybe. I would have last week, but at this week, I'm not exactly sure. Before my eyes, if he could have gotten back, and I'm not sure that he could have, but if he could have gotten back from the way he talks about it, in the interview, he kind of said, I can see fine or whatever. So the way he talks about it, he was probably fine. And I do think, personally, it would be interesting for him to have been the backup a while back. But even now, I think he should be the backup as long as he's healthy. That's just my personal opinion. And again, there's reasons why he isn't that I'm not exactly sure of. It could be he's, just doesn't please the Colts. And not only, I don't know, and Anthony Richardson gets this bad character rap, which I'm not a fan of because he made a rap song or two. But guy's a great guy, works in his community, gives out food, all the stuff you would think a good guy would do. Very family focused. Even goes so far as to being like a Christian man. Believes in God and believes in doing right things for him, which is nice. I'm not saying you got to be a good person or a Christian to be a good person. I'm just saying he even goes that far. He did return to practice. He's just not expected to play for the 49ers. But that means Ray Leonard and Brett Rippon will be behind Rivers again. What does Rivers really bring? He brings experience. He brings poise. But questions remain on how he'll handle a sustained physical NFL defense after years off. Protection will be crucial. The O-line played one of their best games this season last week, and they have to do it again if they have any chance of winning this game. If they don't protect Phillip, we're fucked. Phillip's going to throw the ball in the dirt. He ain't going to get tackled. He don't want to get tackled. He will get tackled, but he don't want to get tackled unless he has to. So, yeah. So, will Phillip Rivers manage the game effectively and keep Indy in it? That is really the biggest question. And will our defense step up? We got to have both those things, and they certainly did last game, but you also have to step up in the biggest moments. That's when you have to step up the most. A little bit on the injury front here. Ricky Pearsall did not practice Thursday, but still could play Monday night with extra recovery time. This has intrigue because if he's active, it gives San Francisco another dangerous receiving weapon. Other weapons to know. Obviously George Kittle and obviously Christian McCaffrey. Just crazy. Both of those guys are actually absolutely game wrecking. We can't let either one of them get going. I'm really hoping we have Sauce back. I didn't see any good things about that on the practice report, to be honest. We had Sauce on there did not practice with his calf. Anthony Gould didn't practice. Josh Downs didn't practice. It was a personal matter though. Jermaine Pat didn't practice. It was also personal. And Bernard Ryman did not practice with an elbow. Anthony Richardson obviously returned with limited practice. Daniel Scott was full of the knee. He's a safety. Full also DeForest Buckner. That's going to be a big aspect of our game, getting him back. He'll be great for the run. Although we did a good job stopping it last week, we can do even better this week. Amir Abdullah was full. He had a knee. And yeah. So, not terrible news. Not good on Sauce Gardner. I really wish we'd have had him back. That would help us. But good thing we have our run starter back with DeForest. That will help out definitely for the game. So, the Colts defense versus the 49ers offense is going to be a big part of this. We've shown some flashes this season, especially last game, like I just talked about. But there's a different type of challenge when it comes to the 49ers. They have multifaceted offense that can meet you on the ground, in the air, and in play action. They really can do everything. And it's really going to be our run defense. That's why I kind of hope we have DeForest Buckner back, maybe tame Christian McCaffrey a little bit. And San Francisco's physical running game, obviously. And Indy's, given Indy's defensive pressure numbers and turnover margin, this unit could be the difference in keeping the game close or allowing it to get out of reach. Could go either way. Again, they have to step up for this game. Here's what we know going into the game. Sauce is likely out, unclear if he'll play. Offensive line injuries. Braden Smith, again, probably out. Just not good. Not good for Braden Smith. I don't think he's on IR. Isn't that what it is? Yeah, he is. He's on IR. And Quentin Nelson had a wrist, but he is full. And then, like I said, Bernard Ryman out with that elbow. So, not good really for the all-line, but they stepped up last week. I really hope they can do the same this week. The 49ers get to the quarterback at a pretty alarming rate. So, can they? Can we stop that? Can they get to Phillip Rivers? I hope so, especially with their backup offensive line. It's going to be a big deal. McCaffrey in play action is unstoppable almost. Stopping the first phase could force San Francisco into predictable passing down, but I really hope that's what happens. Christian McCaffrey catches a lot of balls out of the backfield, and that's not good. We got to win the turnover battle here. Turnover battle is important for any game, but especially a game when you're not supposed to win. Last week, the books disrespected us by almost 16-point spread. Something crazy. This week, it's only like 6. They've come to their senses a little more. But, this game has big playoff implications. This could definitely help our playoff chances, especially if the Texans lose, which they're probably not going to. But, potentially knocking off the 49ers could just get us that much closer to a playoff berth and big seed positioning. A loss for Indianapolis could leave them scrambling down the stretch. There's no doubt about that. This could be bad. Again, we can lose this game and still win, but this is probably going to tear our confidence up pretty bad. The odds are currently favored by, like I said, a touchdown with the total points of 46.5. That's scoring 23, 24 points each. Don't think that's going to happen personally. It's going to be a defensive game, I think, in my opinion. So yeah, that's kind of the Colts game in a nutshell. Will the Bears move to Indiana? We've all seen this report about the Bears moving to Indiana, maybe Northwest Indiana. I've seen some people say it's absolutely not going to happen. I've heard some people say it might happen. It is going to happen. The governor, Mike Braun, has come out and said, let's do it. So I don't know whether it happened or not. I support it. I think it'll be fun. If I'm the Colts, though, if I'm Carly Ursay Gordon, I'm saying you got to get out of here. We don't want your competition in here. Like you can't want that, because people who enjoy winning football, people who love winning more than they love a logo, are going to end up going to this new team, the Indiana Bears, and being a fan of them. And I hate to say that, and people are going to be like, what? But yes, that will happen 100%. There's no doubt about it. Especially if we keep Chris Ballard and keep losing with Chris Ballard and keep the mediocrity going and keep not having a quarterback and keep not having a whole... let me stop. Main thing we need is a quarterback. I gotta be so real with you. That's the main thing we need, bro. You get that and you build around that. You know what I'm saying? You get your quarterback and then you build around it. And that's what ends up working. And that's what ends up helping actually win playoff games and not having just a hope for the playoffs in the end and all of that stuff. Actually securing playoff divisional wins, which we haven't done since Andrew Luck, and yeah. So Jalen Brunson obviously hits that shot last night for the Pacers, and they win, unfortunately. But Pascal scored 26. Andrew Nembhard scored 31, 12. Wait, that was the wrong stat I was looking at. Sorry, 10 rebounds for Jay Huff and 6 points. And that turnover at the end kind of cost them the game, unfortunately. Kentucky is playing St. John's on Sunday, or tomorrow. What I'm talking about Sunday. Tomorrow at 12:30 p.m. And it'll be a big game. We beat the IU Hoosiers recently in a good game. You guys got to follow me over on TikTok at JaYy Takes, JD apostrophe S space takes, JaYy Takes. And I talk about all of this stuff too in short form. I talk about it on live with my friends. Follow me over there for all of my kind of takes on that. But I hope Kentucky can pull it off just like they did with IU against St. John's. That would be good. Maybe even get us back in the rankings or something. Kentucky football is hiring a bunch of people as well. I'm excited for the Kentucky season. We'll get into that after the NFL season and after the Colts. But I'm curious to see how this Colts season ends and what we do with it afterward. But yeah, I appreciate you guys so much for watching, tuning in, and I'll see you all next one. Bye-bye.